All right, guys, I'm Christopher McGee, and today I'm honored to be sitting with Mayor Sherry Jackson of Millcreek. And so I wanted to meet with you, and you were magnanimous calling me back really quickly, actually, and happy to meet and just do a quick interview. So let's jump right in.
Okay.
I guess tell us whatever you want to tell us about yourself as an introduction as the mayor, and if you answer some of the questions I have, then
Sure.
that'll do.
So I'm the mayor of Millcreek. I was appointed in November of 2025. I was elected to serve on the very first city council of Millcreek after incorporation in 2016. So I was on the city council for 9 years prior to being appointed as mayor. I was born and raised in Millcreek.
That is
So
one of
I
my
have,
questions.
I don't care if you know my age, but I have over 50 years of experience in Mill Creek. So I'm very familiar with the area and the community, and chose to move back here after being away for the first several years of marriage with my husband, who's in the Army. And we decided when he got out that we would come back to Mill Creek because this is where we wanted to settle down and raise our family.
Where did you guys end up when you had to move?
You mean where did we live in the Army?
Yeah, did you bounce around, or were you just in one spot?
We moved 7 times in 7 years.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So we moved right after college. We moved to Alabama and then then to Texas, Colorado Springs, Alabama. He went to Korea. I came back to Utah.
Oh my gosh.
Bought our house. And then we went back to Alabama, and he got out of the Army and we moved back.
Well,
so
we're happy to have you, and good to know you've been all over the place and still wanted to call Millcreek home.
Absolutely.
So I asked you this right before we got started, but how long have you been the mayor of Millcreek?
I've been the mayor for, is it 4 months now? Yeah.
Yeah. But like you said, we're involved in the city council since the incorporation of Millcreek as a city. Okay, a couple of questions that I was genuinely curious about, and I think a lot of people would be. My wife was like, don't ask her that. It's got nothing to do with housing. But I'm just genuinely curious. So what do you wish people knew about your job as a mayor?
It's actually been really fun. I had watched Mayor Silvestrini, and he spent a lot of time, dedicated so much time. And a lot of that was because we were a brand new city.
Yeah.
And it took a lot. We didn't have city staff at first, but also that's his personality. I mean, and he just goes all in and is very invested. So I was a little trepidatious, wondering, what is this going to entail? And it's busy. It's full-time work, but a lot of it's fun. It's being out in the community. It's meeting people. It's being in our businesses, getting to know the business community, and just representing our city on, regionally across jurisdictions with other cities and governmental entities in the valley and at the state legislature and things. So it's been good. I mean, obviously, not everybody's always happy with me, and
you can't make everybody happy.
That's how it goes. I raised a family. I get that.
Yeah,
you can't keep everyone happy, but I do my best to make the best decision for the most people.
There's a lot of ways to categorize people in terms of personality, right? Mm-hmm. And one of the ways that this is a common way to do it back in my brokerage, and I'm with Keller Williams, and the brokerage is worldwide. It's one of the largest brokerages in the world. And Gary Keller, who started Keller Williams, he has this, I don't know if he originated this, I doubt it, but he's adopted it and everybody uses it. It's called a DISC profile. Have you ever heard of this?
I have not.
Okay, so this is DISC, and D is like the driver. Mm-hmm. And I don't even remember what I stood for, but it was like life of the party, cheerleader, everybody's favorite person to be around, that kind of thing. S was like how comforting, the people who just, they want you to feel okay. They want to, hugs all around, right? And then the C is like the accountant. I'm a high C. Everybody, if anybody walks into my market center and says, who's C around here? Everybody will turn around and point at me. And the data guy, the analysis, all of that. And I'm just curious, watching the previous mayor, did you feel like you both kind of fit into a similar personality, and that's an important part of being a mayor, to do it well? Or do you feel like maybe he was a driver and you're more of a cheerleader? I'm just throwing out guesses. I'm not saying what I see on you or anything, but what do you think?
I think I'm a driver. I do tend to be a cheerleader, and I do tend to be, I don't know what the S would stand for, but sensitive. I don't know. I
think that's actually it.
I want to make sure people are okay.
Yeah.
And so some of that, I'm a woman, he's a man. I don't know if you want to say gender differences, but some of it is. I mean, I'm a mom. I grew up nurturing kids, and so I'm I think kind of sensitive to people, try and make sure they're doing all right. But I'm also, I'm a driver. I have to get things done.
Yeah.
And that's just
And
kind of how my personality is.
do you think you saw the same thing in the previous mayor?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Driver?
Very much so. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was somebody who could definitely get things done. I mean, and he was great. He really was such a great first mayor, and he was good at assembling an awesome staff and making sure that that Millcreek was kind of on the map, because we were a new city, right? So he was involved with a lot of different communities and committees and things. And he's a very social, outgoing person. And so just getting out there, talking to people and letting them know about our city was great.
Okay. Why would you describe Millcreek as a great place to live?
So I have a couple different reasons. One of them, locationally. I mean, I tell everybody this: we are 20 minutes from everywhere.
Yeah.
And we really are. I mean, we're 20 minutes from Park City. We're 20 minutes from downtown, 20 minutes from, Sandy. We can get pretty much anywhere in the valley pretty quickly. So, but we're not in downtown Salt Lake.
Right.
So we have all the benefits of being in this large community, but we're really not. So I like the location, easy access. I like that Millcreek is an interesting community, because as I don't know if I'd mentioned this before we started the interview, but it was settled in the 1840s, like 1848. The first mill was built on Millcreek and settlements started. And so we still have remnants of those early pioneer families that live in Millcreek. We have generations of people who have lived here in Millcreek. So that's kind of fun. I mean, I was raised here. My parents weren't from Millcreek, but there's a lot of people that have lived here and chosen to come back here and raise families and just stay in the area. But yet we also have a lot of new Americans. We have a large immigrant population that lives in the west side of Millcreek. We've got a lot of diversity in our city that you might not expect when you think of Utah. Like our elementary schools, one of them, I think they said they speak like 40 languages.
What?
I mean, there's a lot of, it's really.
Stop it. 40 languages?
Yeah, it's really interesting. Just from, we have the International Charter School here in our city, and it's just kind of fun to see not only, the balance of the history and tradition, but also the new and what people bring to our city and our state and to America.
Yeah. Millcreek starts, it's all this northeast bench of the Salt Lake Valley, but it does cut quite far west into, so is it like that closer to the inner city is where we get some of all those languages? I had no idea.
Well, there's a lot more dense housing. There's more apartments. There's some that are subsidized housing, and more affordable housing. So, and I think just with apartments, you get a little more diversity and turnover because people don't own.
Yeah, of
so
course,
they may be moving and coming and going a little more than if you owned your own home. But yeah, it's a pretty diverse, cross section of the Salt Lake Valley right here in Millcreek.
Yeah. And with that, if you're comfortable saying, what would you describe the political demographic of Millcreek to be like? Because as I think of it as a pretty good mix, in as much as it gets close to the city, but Utah's known for being conservative, relatively conservative. And
I would say it's a pretty good mix. One indicator, and I don't know, is all of our elected representatives. If you look at our locally elected representatives, they're all Democrats. So maybe left-leaning, but like I said, there's a lot of people with deep roots, and some of that, tends to bring a little more conservative ideology. I don't know, but I wouldn't say we're Salt Lake City in some of the really liberal areas like people think of the Salt Lake Valley, but probably, left-leaning.
Leans a little more left, you'd say. What is new and upcoming in Millcreek?
So obviously Millcreek Common, where we're at here with City Hall, is kind of the new upcoming thing. It was fun to develop, in large part because our community asked for it. When we first incorporated as a city, we had a lot of public meetings to ask our residents, what do you want? What really do you want to see from your city government? And one of the things we heard was they wanted a sense of identity. They wanted a place that could be kind of not a downtown, but a central location.
City center.
A city center. And we are located centrally, right in the middle, east-west of Millcreek, pretty close. We're a little farther on the north side of Millcreek than center would be. But it came about because we were seeing this area. We were getting a lot of applications for apartment buildings right in this area. And we thought, we don't want to just put in apartments when we have the opportunity to do something more. And there's a fault line that runs right here on Millcreek Commons, so it couldn't be built on anyway. So we decided to
It's
buy
on the
that.
Millcreek Commons?
That's where the ice skating loop and all the open
It's
space is.
is that Wasatch Fault, or
Yep.
is that like a break off of
That's the
Wasatch?
Wasatch Fault. Well,
Dang.
I'm sure there's a lot of little tributaries of it. But
Of course, yeah.
yeah. So we had to do a site survey and figure out exactly where the fault was because you can't build on it. But we thought this is an opportunity to purchase that land, have some open space, and do some fun amenities that would, give something back to our community that residents could enjoy. So it's fun. So we've completed phase 1 where we have our skate loop.
Yeah.
There's a little splash pad. City Hall is here. And then we're working on phase 2, which is north of City Hall. We're going to have a mini golf course, a 19-hole mini golf course, because you can't just do 18 in the It will be the only mini golf course on the north side of Salt Lake County.
I'm coming.
Yeah.
Well, I bring my family here often.
Yeah. There's going to be a skate track for, skateboarders, because we don't have anything like that in our city. There's going to be some grass. It'll be more green than our current common area. That's kind of more the plaza.
Yeah.
So it'll just be fun to see how that kind of evolves and how the community enjoys and uses that space, and just to make it, even more of a gathering place.
So where's those 19 holes going to be?
North of City Hall.
Like where
where you can see the construction going right now.
But I can't see a construction. It's like there's a lot of people parking just north of City Hall there. Is that
so? That's kind of northeast. So it's directly north of the building.
Okay. When's your projected completion date on that?
Late spring, early summer of 27.
Oh, cool.
So
we're coming.
Yeah, and it's been moving. With the warm winter, which we are not happy about for a snowpack. Reasons, but it's been great for construction. So they're humming along, and it will be hopefully ahead of schedule.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, by the way, for those of you watching, I'm gesturing out here all the time. We're in the city center, and just right out in front of us is the Millcreek Commons with the skating rink. In the winter, it's ice. We've come here for ice skating, and then when it warms up, it's a roller skating, rollerblading rink. There's somebody ice skating out there right now. So a few folks. So anyway, that's why I'm gesturing out here. Okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of the big community project going on that people would be aware of.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm excited about that. I didn't know there was going to be mini golf. I'm a big golfer. Anyway, I'm a realtor, so I got to ask some questions about housing.
Sure.
What is the city's role as it touches on housing? Because there's federal rules and regulations, and there's state regulations. And when we get down to the level of city, what role is played other than property taxes?
So we are the zoning authority.
Right. Okay.
So as a built out city, what we've seen as a city council is, developers or homeowners coming to us and saying, hey, we've got this property. I want to knock down the single family home that's on an acre of land and subdivide it and put in 4 homes or 6 homes. Or if it's on a major corridor like 33rd South or Highland Drive or, 13th East, they're wanting to put in, townhomes or, really smaller lots, kind of a little more denser development. So we're the zoning authority who approves those kinds of things if it's not already zoned for that. We're also, looking at what incentives can we do to get more owner-occupied housing in our city. There's been a lot of, if you're driving around the Salt Lake Valley, you can see apartments are springing up like mushrooms.
Yeah.
Right. And everybody gets frustrated with that. But the benefit of having more apartments, even if they are rental units, is it does bring the cost down because supply and demand, if there's not enough, then they will charge more because they can.
Yeah.
But if the supply, is adequate for the demand, then housing costs start to come down. So we approve, any of those projects like that. We also, in our city center, we've got a couple places where there will be some owner-occupied condominiums. What you are currently seeing now is apartments, but there will be some owner-occupied condominiums and even some on the north side of Millcreek Common area that will be affordable. They've gone through the state affordable housing process and they've received some state funds so that they'll be, when I say affordable, I mean like $450,000, which is so much more than I paid for my house,
I know.
Many years ago.
Trust me, it hurts.
Right. But I mean, I have kids that are looking at purchasing homes and 450 sounds like a great deal.
Yeah.
So, we're working with that. We're actually kicking in some of our affordable housing fund that we as a city have towards some of those projects just to help them pencil in so developers can actually build them and sell them. And they will be for sale. They will be deed restricted, so that they have to be a for sale product. They can't just be purchased up and somebody turn them into a rental.
Every Monday I'm looking at the several vectors of data to understand our housing market. And as of this morning, average list price for a home in not Millcreek, but in Salt Lake Valley here, Salt Lake County, was $646,000 and change. That's average. Median was about 532,000, I believe. So the median, where more people are having an experience, is better than the average. We got some really high value stuff in the valley that pulls the average higher. But yeah, so something at 450,
right?
Even
Seems
if it's
nice.
a condo,
Yeah.
If you can get into the housing market, if you're me and you're 41 going on 42 years old, you got a family of 4, and if it's time for you to buy a house now, buying a 1 or 2 bedroom condo is not really in the question, right? And that's why it's hard for a lot of people to get in. They've been saving up for decades to try and get a family into something, but I'm not saying we don't want the condos. We want the condos.
Right.
But yeah, it's good to have something at the lower end. And if you are just able to get into something that makes sense for you, financially, and it meets your needs, I mean, just do it. Do it sooner than later, because the home values in Utah only go up. There are very brief stints of time, like we trended a tiny bit down through the first quarter of this year, but the first quarter's not over, and we're already trending up if you just look at the last 4 weeks alone. Our Utah Governor Spencer Cox has stated his aim to have 35,000 new build starter homes in the state prior to his the end of his term at the end of 2028. Millcreek is pretty well built out. Is this something that Millcreek is looking at contributing to? Can it, or is it kind of a moot point in Millcreek because of how built out it is, and we'll leave all the new builds to Harriman and where there's room to build on the west end of the valley?
Well, we'll get different products, right? It's hard to find places for single family homes in Millcreek, although we have remnants of agricultural properties where people are now subdividing. They want smaller lots,
right? So
we have people that are coming to us and saying, hey, I want to subdivide and put in a flag lot, or put in 3 homes on this property. So we're seeing infill like that with new builds.
And even with the condos you mentioned and we were talking about, it's like those are all new builds.
Those are all new builds.
If you're building up, we can put a lot more of them there, and so they count. But
and townhomes. I mean, the state calls it the missing middle, right? It's kind of that in between a single family home and a condo. It's the townhome or the duplex or the fourplex or something that has more than 2 bedrooms where you could put a young family in, and be there for a little while, as opposed to growing out of it, once you've got 2 or 3 kids. So we're kind of working on that, and we've seen that in several areas. We've had places like the old Fat Cats Bowling that was on
I missed that.
East. Yeah. But that, it went out of business. They sold the property. And so there's going to be a mix of housing types put in there. And so we've got little areas like that. So we're contributing where we can. It's obviously not to the same level as areas where there's a lot of open space and you can kind of be more creative and do a variety of things. Plus, we're also at the mercy of what developers can afford to build here. So we don't build, right? We don't pay for that. It's what projects come to us. And as a city, we try and, have appropriate zoning ordinances and things that allow for development where it makes sense. We're sensitive. There are a lot of people like their single family homes. They don't want to have their neighborhoods drastically changed.
And a lot of builders only want to build single family homes.
Yeah, we get that. So we're not trying to push, drastic change on our community, but we're trying to be smart about it and allow for growth and development where it makes sense.
Cool. Okay. So the final question then, is there anything else you would want people to know who are thinking of moving into Millcreek?
So I was born and raised here. I raised my family here. As I said, I love the location. I love the community. We have excellent schools. I think that's one thing a lot of people look for when they're coming with a family. We also have just great amenities and locations to, dining out and recreation with our canyons. We are so close to our canyons. It's incredible. And Millcreek Canyon is just minutes away. So all of those kind of amenities that people look for when they're moving to Utah are within easy reach of Mill Creek. So I think Mill Creek has it all. And I know I'm biased, but I really do. And I think it's a great place to call home. And I think anybody who can buy in Mill Creek would be happy.
All right, so me and my videographer got in an argument about this earlier today. Do you have a favorite restaurant in Mill Creek, or
Ooh.
do you get in trouble for saying?
Well, I probably would get in trouble for saying, but it's like you're looking at genres, right? If you
Sure.
want Asian food, Gary's Asian Bistro is great up in Olympus Hills Mall. Mexican, we have all kinds of great Mexican restaurants and different varieties from the sit down to the drive through. It's great. I don't really have to leave to get great food. Beaumont Bakery is delicious. I mean, we have a lot of things that people I know come to this area for the dining. So.
All right. She didn't really want to answer the question. She didn't want to get in trouble. I don't blame you. All right. Thank you. Thank you. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.